Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap pre-market analysis and trade plan setup for Wednesday, September the 25th, 2013. My name is Doug McKay. I'm one of the moderators of Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap has been around for about 4 years. We fly under the radar. If you're interested in checking out, it is a Skype room. You won't be able to see the Skype chat in this window, but if you want to come check us out, you'll need a Skype account, and you can simply send me a contact request at Doug_McKay. I'll be the one from Windsor, Ontario, Canada, or you can send me a private message to @crazy2. That's my Twitter handle, and you can also send me an email at dm@m4connects.com. Each morning we come together, we do a homework session, and we start with a standard routine that we do. So if you're watching on YouTube after the fact, you might want to skip ahead a bit until we get into the deeper chart analysis. But we create a routine to get ourselves into the process of starting our morning and getting ready to trade. Anyway, we're going to do that, but first we have to get the disclaimer out of the way. This information is for the purpose of educating members who want to expand their knowledge of the business of trading. It's not for trading or investment advice. You and only you are responsible for the trades or investment decisions you make. Trading futures or any instrument involves the risk of loss. Please consider carefully whether futures or options are appropriate to your financial situation. Only risk capital should be used when trading futures or options. Investors could lose more than initial investment. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please use your own trade plan and do your own due diligence. All right, let's get right to the numbers. So the first thing we do each morning is we go through our key numbers, looking for trends, looking for numbers that pop out at us and get us thinking about the different levels. We've been keeping the sheet for several years now. Each day Howard and I work on the sheet at night, and then we post in the room what we call our QLTP, which is a ladder above the previous day close and a ladder below the previous day close, with all the different key levels that we're watching based on multiple methodologies. Has all the news, the scheduled news, little work area, your open highs and lows, your daily, weekly, and monthly pivots, and they're all put into this ladder. That way you can see as you're coming into an area what other traders might activate their trading decisions on. But the first thing we do is we go through the numbers themselves. So of course we still have that all-time high and the year high at 1726.75. We're way above our year opening and year low. We opened the month at 1640.25. We have the month high, which is our all-time high, and year high at 1726.75. Month low at 1630.75. Previous month we opened at 1685.50. We had that what was the all-time high in the previous year high at 1705. Previous month low 1624.75, and we closed 1632.25. This week we opened the week at 1706.50. Had a high at 1707.50 and a low of 1687.50. That is that low we put in yesterday. Key level NSCLVN. Our previous week open 1693. Previous week high is the all-time high, month high, and year high 1726.75. Previous week low 1687.75, and previous week close 1703.75. Nothing changes in the quarterly, so we'll go right into the intraday. Yesterday in Globex we opened up at 1693.25. Had a high of 1695.25, a low of 1689.50, and we opened the RTH at 1694.75. And you can see that we are starting to create a little bit of a trend lower on all the intraday numbers. We opened option in range yesterday. We broke the IB to one side, had a normal variation. Our opening swing high 1694.75, opening swing low 1692.75 for a 2-point opening swing. Our initial balance, which is the first hour, high 1694.75, 1687.50, again trending lower for a 7.25 point initial balance, well within the norm. Our 1230 number was higher at 1699.50. Our RTH high was lower at 1701. Our RTH low was lower at 1687.50, and we closed at 1692.50, exactly where we closed the prior day. Our VPOC was higher slightly at 1697 and a quarter. Our RTH range yesterday, 13.5, which was the full session range. Our Globex range, 5 3/4. Our full session high was put in the RTH at 1701, and our full session low was put in the RTH at 1687.50. The 20-day ATRs are running 13.5 for the RTH, 15 3/4 for the full session, and just over 8 for the Globex. Our Globex open last night was 1692 and a quarter. Our European cash close was 1697.75. That's the 1030 number. All numbers in here are central. Our value area, 1699.75, was slightly higher. Our value area low, though, was 1691.75, which was lower for an 8-point value area. And we broke inside, just barely inside the pocket, our IB to the high side at 944. It looked like we were going to break the low at that 87.50, and the buyer stepped in right at that number and took us up for a nice rip up, and then we broke the high at 944 central. Our extended session high 1692.75, extended session low 1691.75, and we closed at 1692.25 for settlement. And you can see again the extended session numbers were all lower. And we had a 1-point extended session range, which is lower than the 1.5 20-day ATR for the ETH. And volume 1.2 and 1.5 respectively. On the daily report, nothing really changes. Key number below us, I think is, as yesterday, if we break that 87.50, I think is going to come into play at 1680 and a quarter. And then the other one, actually the double A right here, this should be just a single A. And double A is going to be the 75. And that is our current microcomposite VPOC below us. Again, the key number that you want to keep your eye on this morning is 1687.50. I think we're trading just around 1690 right now. Excuse me. Nothing really changes in the microcomposite LVNs. We had a triple distribution yesterday in the intraday profile. Keep an eye on this 89.50 to the low side and 92.75, and I'll show you why when we get over to the charts. The naked crosses. Naked cross is a study that I developed a few years ago, and it's when the 9 EMA crosses over the 20 SMA and price moves away from the cross and leaves that unauctioned, naked, untested. The market has a very high probability of coming and taking out that and retesting that number. So we took out 94.75 on the 15-minute and 99 and a quarter on the 5-minute, and we added a new one at 99 on the 5-minute and 95 on the 30-minute. And then we put a couple in overnight that I'll post on the charts. And the naked VPOCs, we took out 1695.75, and we added yesterday's VPOC at 1697 and a quarter. News today, we had durable goods. I'm not sure, I haven't checked how the market reacted to that. We do have new home sales at 9, so that'll be half hour after the RTH opens, so be careful and patient on the open. Keep it light and tight before the news, because this could be a mover. And then we've got crude inventories at 9:30. Of course, we've got headline news all day based on the the talk about the debt ceiling. And of course, there's lots of news for Syria, I should say. Okay, next thing we like to do is we like to look at the trends and the macro to the micro before we get into the more in-depth chart analysis. Always keeping our eye on where we are within the trends in the different time frames. The monthly trend is very much intact. Got good slope and separation on the 9 and the 20. Price is paralleling the 9 nicely, and we're trading in the upper distribution. Trend is very strong on the monthly. On the weekly, we've got slope and separation. We came down here, tested the 20. We had our very first close on the weekly of the whole year below the 20 a couple weeks ago. We were looking at a possible head and shoulder pattern. We kind of blew through the head, so now we have to look at a possibility of this being the left shoulder and this possibly setting up for a head and shoulder. But we've got slope and separation on the 9 and the 20. We also have an island top up top right now, so we have to look at that as a possibility. And we've got a little bit of weakness showing on this week. We're trading below the open of last week. So, it's a possibility that we're seeing some weakness in the weekly. Going over to the daily, we've got another possible head and shoulder setting up here. We've come down and we traded below the 9 EMA yesterday, and we're currently trying to get back above the 9 EMA. We've lost slope, but we do have some separation. We're at a decision point, likely to come down here and test this this 20 SMA. That'll bring us down into that lower microcomposite and in around that microcomposite VPOC of 1675, and we'll look at that on the chart. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. I made a couple adjustments on the chart. I brought in a new downward sloping fork based on the previous high at 1705. A point being the new high at, B point being the new high at 1726.75, and then the C point being that swing low that we've got. And you can see that we're coming down, we're back below the center line of the upward sloping modified shift chart, fork, and we've got a couple new energy points that we've created. We've got one down here at that 1653.75. We've got one right here at 1693.25. One right here at 1710, and then another one at 1721, and then the big one up above, which is at 1778. Right now, we are below the center line of the upward sloping modified shift chart, so you've got to be looking at possibility of bringing these energy points until we get back above. And whether we do, we don't, I don't know yet, but it's just, you want to keep yourself aware of it. Let's take a look at the intraday. There is an interesting pattern on the intraday on the 4-hour. We have a possible head and shoulder pattern setting up on the intraday. Neckline is right here at that 1687.50. Interesting. Measured move on that is going to bring us down into 1648 area. So just keep an eye on this. It's a little bit of a sloppy pattern, but it is valid, so you just want to keep an eye on that. But currently, right now, you can see that we've got slope and separation to the downside. We've got a little bit of a consolidation, but we are trading below the 9 EMA, so you want to keep an eye on this. If we get back above the 9 EMA, I think we'll come up and close the gap on the 20, which will put us into that 97, 98 area. Just drill down one more time to the 30-minute. You can see 30-minute really doesn't give us any information. We're consolidating right now. We've got an MA hug going on, and we're currently popped up and trading above the 9 and the 20 at 92.75. So let's go and take a look at the big picture on the composite. My composite runs back, it doesn't really matter because we've only got so much information up here, but my composite starts at 816.07. That's the swing low before going up and making what was the all-time high in September of 2007. This is the swing low just before it. I'm thinking I might make an adjustment if we get down back into the 1500s and just tighten it up a bit. Of course, right now we're trading in this distribution. The 7-day, is it 7-day, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-day microcomposite VPOC is at that 95.75, which is also that what was naked microcomposite, where we tried to hold value the last time we made an all-time high. This 98.50 is the adjusted high of the December contract, which in September was the 1705. And of course, we talked about coming into the September contract that we'd likely see equalization, and that's why that 1705 was still showing as our year high, because I've seen it over and over and over again where the two contracts will equalize themselves, and you'll test that prior number. Of course, we went and we had the QE forever news on Fed Day, and it popped us up much higher, and we currently have a high at 1723.75 on the RTH and 1726.75 in the Globex. But we've tried to hold value up here around 1715. Once we got up there, we couldn't hold it, and we slid right back down the zipper line here, come down into the lower distribution, and currently trading in this 95.75 area. The two-day microcomposite, as we're trying to hold value here yesterday, we made a run up to try to to break above that 1701, but we failed to do so. They're trying to hold value. The most accepted price in the last 2 days is 97. And that is one of those energy points. So just keep in mind that they still are holding value inside the lower distribution of the overall microcomposite around the 95.75, but the most accepted price in the last 2 days is 97. Of course, the major line in the sand for me, and again, I think is a possibility we test it again, and it is a weak bottom in my mind, is that 87.50. And if we get below the 87.50, then we're back into this distribution around the microcomposite of the balance that we had before we gapped up and launched. And the gap close will be the 82.25. Of course, the big number below is 80.25, and we talked about this yesterday. The most accepted price overall in this balance area is the 16.75. But as we crept, closer to the breakout day, that value jumped to 1678.75, and then just before we launched, it was up at that 80.25. So those three points to me, the three CHVNs at 80.25, 78.50, and 75 is what I consider to be undetermined fair value. And if we get down here, we're likely to test all three and probably play some ping pong back and forth between the 80.25 and 75 as they determine what is the most accepted price within that balance area. Other side of balance below is 65.75. I think it's another major line in the sand. Again, it is a gap. And the gap close is at 63.50, which was the prior microcomposite VPOC in the balance area just before we launched. And we've come down to it to pick up buyers the one time, and then launched to go up and make what was the all-time high at 1698.50. Couldn't hold that value up there and fell back down and created this balance zone down here around that 1647, 1648 area. And that is the area which I find interesting on that on that head and shoulder pattern as the measured move down there. So just keep an eye on that. Of course, right now we're trading at 93, and the other side of balance being 89.50, but I think the real one is 87.50. Above us, we have the 1701. If we get above the 1701, I'd be looking for a move up the zipper line again, first to the 1707, but the big number above is 1715.50 and 1718.25. Whether we hit that, I don't know. We do have some targets up there which show that there's a possibility that we have unfinished business. Let's go over, take a look at the Globex and start moving our numbers over to our intraday chart. Our Globex low, well, right there, one tick below that 87.50 at 87.25. So our overnight low is one tick below the RTH range low, and that CLV at 87.50. Our RTH high is 93.50. We're trading right near there, so that might get some expansion prior to the RTH, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in right now. And then our overnight VPOC was 92. Which we're trading just above right now. Value area low for yesterday, 91.75. Value area high, 1700. We've got the key LVN here at 95 and a quarter. This is going to be an area that I'll be doing business, so this is going to be a trade area for me. Above that, we've got the naked VPOC at 97 and a quarter and the value area high, and then the range high at 1701 with the naked microcomposite, the naked VPOC from Monday, I believe it was, at 1702. And then we've got those two naked crosses still up there at 1704 and 1705. Let's put the overnight naked crosses in. We've got one at 91.50. I think that one, 91.75. I believe that one just got closed out. Let me just check that on the 5-minute. Yeah, it just got closed out. There it is right there. So that one can get taken off my notes. And then we've got one at 99 and a quarter. And 1690.50 got taken out. And we've got one at 1695. Right in that trade area. So currently we're trading right now in the the lower distribution here. I'll be watching this 89.50, which is that CLVN and an LVN below us, and the range low from Tuesday. So that is going to be an area that I'll be doing business. Of course, at the 1700 and the value area high, that'll be another area that I'll be doing business. And of course, my targets above will be the 01 and 1702, 75, and 1704 to 1705 area. And then if we come down and get below this 89, my target will be the range low, the overnight low. I put an opening swing low as my overnight low. Let me just change that. What was it? 87 and a quarter. So I'll be looking to get short into that. In here, there's really not much I can do until we get up and test that 95 area. 95 and a quarter, and then if we break through, I'll be getting long into 97 and a quarter. If we come up here and find sellers and rotate back down, I'll be looking to rotate down. Of course, we'll be taking out the overnight high. It looks like we're going to put another overnight high in right now, but we'll have to just keep that and adjust it as it happens. Looking at the Keltner, we're currently trading the upper distribution of the Keltner channel. We don't have very much slope on this. It's kind of sideways, so it's not guiding us on direction right now. Test of the lower Keltner line will be 90.70. Center Keltner line will be 90.75, and a test above will be 96.75. And likely by the time we get there, it'll be closer to 97 and a quarter for taking out that naked VPOC. And then below us, 1685.25, which is just above. And by the time we get there, it's probably going to be closer to that 84 and a quarter CHVN. Let's just take a quick look at gold. Wrong chart. Wrong chart. Where's my, oh, there it is. All right, so just bring in overnight volume. Yesterday we talked about looking at the high in around that 1630. We got up to 13 29.40, just barely missed that 13.30. We kind of just rotated around that 18.50, which is our microcomposite VPOC. I think nothing really changes again today. I think gold is setting up for a larger move, but it's in consolidation right now. Key lines that I'd be looking at are 13, 16, 70. Remember that 13, 17 was a key area before. It's shifted slightly down as the CLVN. If we get below that, I'd be looking for a rotation down to 09 and test the value area low at 07, with the other side of balance being 13.0430. If we get through that, then I'd be looking to test that 1300 level. At the big number below, as I mentioned numerous times this week, is 1284.90. I really think that if we come down here, this is where we're going to get strong buyers stepping in to try to hold value and get back up into the 1300s. Above us, 1330 area, the 24 area, other side of balance, 37.25, with the value area high up here at 46.75, with the CLVN at 45.10. And if we get through there, I'd be looking for a move up to test that 63, 66 area, that prior microdeposit that we talked about last week, and then a move up to that 1386, 1388 area, which was the microdeposit for that larger area back here. So that's what I'm looking at on gold. Howard, over to you.
Thank you, Doug. So I'm going to start with the monthly chart, and this line here represents a 20-year Andrews pitchfork, and we see on the monthly we touched it here in May, we touched it here in July, again in August, and we tried probing above again in September. So this line looks to be significant so far. We'll see if it continues holding or not, but it's had several touches, and it is a long-term trend line, so it seems to be a significant level that we've been testing, so just keep an eye on that. Let's go to the weekly. So last week we had this shooting star, and so far this week we're forming a bearish engulfing, but again, we've only had 2 trading days this week, so a lot can change. But that's something I'm keeping an eye on how we develop the remainder of the week. And going to the daily. We had kind of a shooting star here, but this lower wick may be a little too long to be considered a shooting star, but similar behavior. These 3 candles here form evening star pattern, which is generally bearish at the top of a trend. And then since then we had strong follow through the next day and a little bit further follow through the day after, which was yesterday. And on the 23rd we see that we did close below this 9 EMA, which is somewhat significant. Yesterday we tried probing above it but failed and closed below it once again. So far during Globex, we've tested it. We're close to testing it again at the moment. So this is looking to be a significant level for now, to see if we're just consolidating after a correction to the last new high at 1726.75, or whether we're consolidating for another move lower. So this 9 EMA here is going to be a significant level, and right now I have it at 1694. So now let's go ahead and take a look at market breadth. So looking at the on-balance volume, since we actually hit our high here during Globex, and our high in on-balance volume, which is calculated during the RTH session, was here on the 18th. Since then, on-balance volume has been declining along with price. our Dow transports versus industrials. See that the transports have created some separation between themselves and the industrials here and are looking a little stronger than the industrials. But it's been, in sync pretty much all year. There was just one time of the year where they did touch, but the transports have never been below the industrials for the entire year thus far. So let's look at the sectors. So as of yesterday, we had pretty much a doji type of day, some indecision, no major net movement. So we're seeing a mix in terms of the sectors. The retail, which is the leading sector for the last while, did move a little higher. Healthcare has moved down to challenge the XLY, which is consumer discretionary. Financials are looking weaker. Home builders, have been stronger since they came out of the cellar back here on August 30th. So we have a little bit of a mixed picture yesterday in terms of the sectors, which you would expect on a consolidation day. And our advanced declines have continued moving lower. This is advanced declines on a 10-day average basis. The blue is the NYSE, the red is the NASDAQ. So they peaked here on the 18th pretty much with price. Price peaked on the 19th during the Globex session. So, it's looking, at least right now, like we have made a temporary high for now. As we can see from past experience, when we made this last high, price continued moving higher before it started correcting. Same with up-down volume, which is this lower chart. Both advanced decline and up-down volume had a bottom here on the 19th, where price continued lower. But this gave us an early indication that market sentiment was starting to change a little bit. So this last high is pretty much coinciding with price. It seems to be indicating a bit of weakness and less market breadth supporting price at this point, but it's in tandem with price. So maybe price and the indicators are going to work more in sync this time. We'll see. We earlier were looking at this as being a potential top, but after a retracement we made a new higher high, so this decline is a little more significant than this one was. We'll see if the breadth is just consolidating here and makes another push higher in a bit, or whether we continue lower and take price with it. So that's what I'll be looking at with this. So with that, Doug, that's all I've got. I'll turn it back over to you. We have about 10 minutes left open.
Okay, thank you, Howard. So, we have not gone up and did we make a new high? 93.75. So we did make another tick higher at 93.75. We've come back down to that 92. So again, just to reiterate, my main hypothesis for the day is we've got a gap that needs to be closed here at 92.50. We're trading just below it. I'm expecting buyers to step in here, take us up through to test the upper distribution or the upper other side of balance around this lower distribution at this LVN at 95 and a quarter. Remember that 95 area is the current microcomposite VPOC. At that point in time, we'll see if they've got enough conviction to break through it and go take out the 97 and a quarter. If they find some responsive sellers at this other side of the balance and the microcomposite VPOC, I'd be looking for a rotation back down towards the CHVN, or sorry, not CHVN, the HVN from yesterday's lower distribution, and the CHVN at 91, but 91.50, and then a move down to test that lower LVN at 89.50, which is also the CLVN, and go down and test this this low. I still think this is kind of a weak low, and if we can get through it, my my targets are 84, and the big one being down here at that CHVN at 80 and a quarter, 80.50, naked cross down here. My secondary hypothesis is if we can break above and we find buyers with conviction to get us through the LVN, then my hypothesis to take out the overnight high. We'll probably trade it in this area for a bit in the morning and through to the lunch hour, and then come up, test the value area high. And if we can get out of value, go up and take out the 1701 and test this 0275. We only have a 13.5 point range, so I think we'll get some range extension today, and that 0275 with the extended target up here at 1704, 1705, with a possibility of maybe testing that 1707 above. And then my what if hypothesis is we chop inside of yesterday's range, have an inside day, another day of consolidation. If you look at the microcomposites, I'm sorry, not the microcomposites, the market profiles, we've been trading inside and around a lot of value areas, for the 5 days that we are in this range. So we still could consolidate a little bit more and chop around in this area and simply, just play ping pong between 97 and 91 and just consolidate for another day before we get the energy to break out of it. So that's what I'm looking at. That will conclude the morning homework session and market analysis for Wednesday, September the 25th. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.